12% of the 811 million containers handled at seaports around the world. The continent's clearing and forwarding market is also growing, with latest figures suggesting a market size of $4.2 billion and a projected 12.5% growth with new services emerging. However, a wide range of challenges remain unsolved. Sola Usidame is the CEO and founder of OnePort 365, a digital freight forwarding company that makes it easier to move cargo to, from, and within Africa. His company recently raised a $5 million seed funding to drive the end-to-end digitization of freight management in Africa. It's good to have you on the show this evening, Sola, and congratulations with that $5 million. We'll get to the money very soon. Let's just discuss a bit more issues around the continent first before we discuss the $5 million. Give me a wider view and a man-on-the-ground view of the state of freight forwarding or freight management space in sub-Saharan Africa.
Okay, thank you very much for having me. In terms of the space in Africa, in terms of freight management in Africa, it's still highly fragmented, unstructured to a large extent, and very opaque. There's still so many things that are being done in a very manual way, despite the fact that technology in the rest of the world has actually taken over so many of the processes. On average, it's still taking as much as 10 days to actually generate quotes for so many of these commodity traders. For example, you look at ginger traders who are moving cargo out of, for example, Kano, and they're exporting it to places such as Cape Town or the port of Rotterdam. On average, it takes these guys about 10 days just to generate quotes and make bookings from that warehousing stage down to getting those cargoes out of the country. It's still significantly fragmented, and what we're trying to do is actually deploy technology to streamline that process for cross-border traders in Africa, basically, and that's what we're hoping to do at OnePort 365.
Well, so how are traders currently managing the movement of their cargoes, the whole disruption with COVID-19 pandemic on one hand, then you've got Russia and Ukraine jumping into the waters, as it were, and things are getting a whole lot more murdier than ever before. If we say we had global supply chain problem, then it looks like things are getting a little bit more tougher for traders, for forwarders, for importers, for everyone who needs to move something, and whatever from point A to point B to point Z.
So unfortunately, it's been quite tough for most of these guys because apart from the fact that the system, like I mentioned earlier, is still fragmented, also costs have generally been increasing in terms of freight costs, mostly originating from the Chinese submarkets. These traders have had to adapt. Unfortunately, this cost and rates are actually being passed on in terms of the market rates that affects cost of goods in the local markets. On our sides, what we're simply doing is actually supporting these traders in terms of, rather than having to wait for 10 to 14 days period to book your cargo to move, let's say, from Kano, out of Kano into outside ports in Africa and outside Africa, we actually can streamline that process by deploying technology to cut down that process from a 10 to 14 days process into a 30 seconds process. The number of challenges most of these traders face is actually significant. We have power challenges, we have insecurity challenges, we have a couple of other challenges and all that. Now, to also add to that, basically, it's a situation whereby the process is significantly slow to move that cargo. What we're solving in OnePort is actually deploying technology to ensure that that process is basically taken away from a 10 days process to less than a 30 seconds process. The easiest way I used to describe it is this. 30 years ago, you want to buy a flight ticket to fly, let's say, from Lagos to New York. What do? You go to the airport and you queue up all day and you get a ticket after haggling all day and talking to 4 or 5 different airlines. Currently, when you want to do something similar, you get on different booking platforms that exist online, and you get that process done in less than a minute. Now, with a solution to basically booking cargo to move from point A, origin Africa, to the rest of the world in less than a minute. And that's what we're doing at OnePort 365.
Interesting how things are going. But how could the current system be improved using technology? If you look at Lagos Port, for example, and you don't want to know what is going on down there in terms of how we're able to move a single container of a 20-footer, 40-footer container with the speed of using technology and the whole thing around the Port Authority, the customs, all the agencies at the ports. So when we're about to talk about technology is the way to go. So how could the current system be improved, my friend?
I'll say more tech adaptation on the side, and that's tech adaptation cross board, right from the regulators down to forwarders who are playing in the space, down to even third parties and down to even shipping line. Every stakeholder involved in that process has to actually adapt technology to streamline the process. On the side of the government and the regulators, I'll say the Nigerian Port Authority have actually done a pretty decent job. A couple of years ago, it would take you, talking about up to 2 years ago, it would take you on average, give or take, more than a week to get containers into the port. Now there has been technology deployed over the last 2 years in terms of the ETO system, and now it takes you a couple of days to move cargo into the port. Are we sailing yet? Are we at that point whereby we say we've gotten it right? No. But what we've seen basically is a massive improvement in that booking process for containers getting into a Papa port, for example, using technology, whereby they can actually go to a trailer park in that trailer park, book for those containers to get into the port. And what we've seen is basically on about 90% of the scenarios, those containers get into the port within an average of 5 days. 2 years ago, it was totally not the case. It was taking you weeks and weeks and weeks to get containers into the port. So technology adaptation is actually super critical. Infrastructure improvement is actually another one, right? There's absolutely no reason why you should have cargo basically moving on the roads originating from Kano, going all the way to Lagos and going all the way to Oner. Everything is on the road. I think currently right now we have 95% of containers moving in Nigeria are actually being moved on the road. So we have to improve other alternatives, the badging system, the railway system, to ensure that the process is improved upon across board. And that is simpler and the easiest way to ease business for most of these cross-border traders in Africa and in Nigeria especially.
Interesting. But traders have been managing their freights in the traditional way for a long time. How open are they to adopting your tech-based solutions? You are the one, you are the go-to guy right now. Are they ready to embrace you?
Yes, it's been, in terms of adaptation, it's been significantly exciting for us. Basically, like I said, this is a challenge that has been common. That's a common challenge in the market. Everybody knows what the challenge is, but no one has actually taken time to actually come up with a solution. And like I said, this has been the system for years, and it's been like this for over 30, 40 years. And technology right now is what we're bringing into solving that. And we've had situations whereby we've taken this thing out to market and spoken to a couple of traders, and it's been adopted within a space of about 48 hours. We're taking people away from that process of a manual booking system into a system whereby you can turn around your process in less than 48 hours. Now, what does that mean? That improves your efficiency, that improves your turnaround in terms of cargo, and that means you can actually get paid faster by your buyers who are receiving the cargo abroad. So adaptation has been significantly excellent for us. And we're obviously super excited to also get more clients actually utilizing the platform, and also supporting these guys in terms of streamlining their cargo movement from Africa.
How does the AFCFTA, the new Continental Trade Agreement, how will it have impact on what you're doing at OnePort 365?
It significantly impacts what we're doing in terms of opportunities as well. Intra-African trade has been significantly limited, and I'll probably draft that to pre-colonial days. The typical trade route has been very much a Africa movement of raw materials and coal from the African subcontinent to the rest of the world, right? And in terms of movement of cargo from East Africa to West Africa, typically what you'll be able to see is cargo, in most cases, has to go to Europe, sit in Europe for a couple of weeks before coming down to East Africa. Now, with the AFCFTA, basically, what happens basically is that Africa, as much as possible, becomes as good as a single market. The trader who is based out of Onitsha can see a market such as Mombasa or Nairobi as equally the same way he will see a market such as Lagos, and know there are opportunities for him to expand into that market. So Africa now goes away, for example, Nigeria goes away from being a market of about 200 million people, potential market buyers potentially, to a market of about 1.2 billion. Now, what does that mean for us? There are more opportunities to capture more traders. So many people who are involved in local trade actually start exporting cargo from the local market, and that is a super exciting frame for us also. We're also part of the Ceiling Consortium, which is being led by the Nexim Bank in Nigeria. What does that mean? That basically what Ceiling is trying to achieve is to ensure that rather than having cargo go to different destinations out of Africa, to move from West Africa, for example, to East Africa, we can actually support these traders in terms of a direct route for the movement of cargoes across Africa. So we're excited. We're excited about what we're doing now. We're so excited about supporting traders, and the traders are the key people we're looking forward to working with, providing trade finance for them as well, small, medium-scale traders, providing trade finance for the logistics cost, and also deploying more technology, expanding across Africa, and also growing the team. We're super excited about what we're doing, and it's a great opportunity for us as well at OnePort 365.
Yeah, it's good having you on the show this evening. Congratulations, and we wish you all the best. Here's Sola Usidame, CEO and founder at OnePort 365. Your World Business Today is next, everyone.